Hello friends, today I have an exciting video. It is to set up a Elasticsearch cluster monitoring. We'll be using Metricbeat to ship the monitoring data from Elasticsearch nodes, and we will store the data in Elasticsearch itself, and finally we will view the monitoring data using the Kibana. Kibana is a visualization tool, you can say. It's a pretty simple setup. Let's start with the Elasticsearch setup. So if you haven't watched my previous video on Elasticsearch cluster setup, you can check it out. You will have to download the version for your operating system, and you will have to extract this individual packages. When you extract Elasticsearch, you get something like this. For this demo purpose, I will just explain these folders as well. Test node 1 is the cluster that we will be monitoring. I am setting up a single node cluster, and test node 2 is where we will be storing the monitoring data about the test node 1. Okay, so don't confuse, these are two separate clusters. The monitoring statistics will be stored in test node 2, and the actual cluster that we will be monitoring is test node 1. All right. So this is just to show you how the Elasticsearch extracted file looks like. So you can just rename it and create a folder, something like this. All right, I'll just delete this. All right, so test node 1 configuration should look like this. So I have already created the configuration to save some time. It's a simple configuration, like we need to specify cluster name, node name, and ports, and for this demo we have disabled the security as well, and we will need to configure the JVM options based on the available memory in your system. Just set these values. So this is the test node 1. Let's go ahead and start the test node 1. Okay, let's ls. So I am already inside the Elasticsearch bin directory. So if you are getting confused, I'll just go to download directory, and from there I go to test node 1 and Elasticsearch and bin directory. All right. So from here I will execute Elasticsearch executable. It will start the Elasticsearch node. For this demo, I am setting okay, looks like it. Localhost. Let's just check the cat nodes as well. Alright, so we have a single node server here. Now let's start the second node as well. So this node will be using to store the monitoring data as we discussed. Test node 2. Let's go to bin directory. So I'll show you the configuration file for this node as well. This test node 2. This is again an independent cluster with single node, and I'm running it on 9201 port. You can use Docker as well, and I have disabled the security as well for this. Okay, let's start the test node 2 server as well. Nodes comes up. As you can see, we have only one. Start the Kibana server as well. Kibana, and let's go to bin directory. let's check out the configurations for Kibana as well. So kibana.yaml looks something like this. It's connecting to 9201 because we are expecting the monitoring data to be present in the second node. Alright, so it's 9201 port. So in Kibana we need to configure that port. Let's start the Kibana server as well. Into Kibana. Okay, Kibana would take some time to come up. It has to create its own meta indices in the cluster. Kibana is trying. Okay, I go to Elasticsearch is available in stack monitoring tab. See, there is no cluster available as of now. So we will have to set up the monitoring with Metricbeat. So if you go here, it will actually show you the instruction on how to configure these things. Okay, so you need to download the Metricbeat. This is the final piece in our puzzle. So once you download and extract Metricbeat, you will see something like this. So these are the folders and files available once you extract the Metricbeat package. So here we need to enable monitoring for Elasticsearch. So inside the modules.d directory, you see a lot of files. There are like different monitoring that you can do using Metricbeat. For today's demo, we'll be just focusing on Elasticsearch expect.yaml. So this will be in .disabled. You need to rename that file to elasticsearch.expect.yaml. So .disabled files are not picked by default. So you need to remove that disabled from this file, and I will show you that configuration file as well. So yeah, so this is the configuration file. I will briefly explain this configuration. So we are saying this module is Elasticsearch and expect enabled is true, and period is 10 seconds. For every 10 seconds it will poll, and host is 9200. So we want to monitor the test1 cluster. So this is the input. Okay, so it will poll the cluster 9200, and in the metricbeat.yaml, okay, this is the main configuration file of Metricbeat. Here you need to specify the output. So you want to monitor the 9200 port and send the data to 9201. This is where you store the Metricbeat, the monitoring data of cluster test node 1. Alright, so only these two configuration is required. After that, you will have to just start the Metricbeat executable. Let's go to the console. Let's go to Metricbeat directory. Alright, so let's list down the files, and we have a Metricbeat executable here. We just execute that. Okay, now as you can see, devices where it stores the data, monitoring data of the. Alright, let's go to the Kibana again. Let's just refresh this page. unable to find the cluster in the selected time range UID. Okay, let's try again. Let's go to the stack monitoring again. Okay, again we are getting this exception. What is the issue? Usage collection is enabled. Allow us to learn more. Interesting. Okay, let's retry it. Okay, boom. So we got the monitoring data of test node 1. Let's check out what are the things available. So if you see the basic information here, it is its roles, status, everything is displayed here. Status is green, that means cluster is stable. And if you click on the node, it's the data started to come. So we have JVM information, CPU utilization, latency, segment, system load, IOPS, etc. And let's see the advanced PC related details and index memory request rate. So in request rate we get both search and index in request rate. I think it's everything is 0 as of now. Let's create some sample index and see what are the things available here. So monitoring is available for nodes and also for indices. Okay, let's check both. Let's go to the console. Let's create one more terminal here. Alright, so let's create one test index. Okay, it doesn't have any document as such. We have created a dummy index. Let's just verify using cat charts. Need to change the export. It's xget. Okay, so we have one index and replica is unassigned because we have only single node in that cluster. That's fine. That's why the status became yellow now, because replica is not assigned. If you go to the index, we have this. There is no search or indexing happening right now. It shows disk, segment count, everything. So this is very useful for monitoring your Elasticsearch health, and of course you can configure alerts as well. You can set the alert rules, etc. So yeah, so let's try to hit some search request as well, just to check out how fast the data is appearing in our Kibana. So remember, we have configured Metricbeat to poll the server every 10 seconds. So there might be delay of 10 seconds. Yeah. So we got the search data here. We got 0.1 request per second. This is a unit of the search request rate, and if you index, even this data will start to come. Alright guys, this is it for today's demo. Hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching.